Good afternoon. Welcome all to the grand reopening of the Peterborough Town Library. I'm Corinne Chronopoulos. I'm the library director, and I want to thank you all for taking time to be here today on this amazing special day. Thank you to the Monadnock Music musicians who entertained us. They did a great job. We have a wonderful program for you today, and we're going to hear from our fantastic leadership and stakeholders. But before I introduce them, a quick matter of housekeeping. We are very lucky that our project moved forward with very little impact from the supply chain issues that are happening nationally. But we were not immune, and you will notice the temporary railings. Those will be replaced, and you'll also notice there are no books or stacks in the library. A little awkward, but those stacks are being manufactured, and they'll be here soon. Another piece to notice is the front portico lawn. That's impacted by the bridge project. When the bridge is complete, the pedestrian bridge will be removed. We'll have a great view of the bridge, and the front lawn will be landscaped. And the temporary sidewalk on Concord Street will be replaced. We're also waiting for our flagpole to be installed. At this time, the flag, which will eventually fly on our front lawn, will be presented to our Assistant Library Director, Mary Hubbard, by two of our library trustees and veterans, Greg Kriebel and Ron Bowman. If you would come forward.
Good morning and welcome, friends and neighbors. As veterans, it is a great privilege and pleasure to have the honor of presenting this beautiful symbol of our country, the flag of the United States of America, the Stars and Stripes, to the Peterborough Town Library on behalf of the trustees. May it always fly over our land, representing a government that will always strive to champion freedom and justice. Thank you.
I usually can project. The staff will tell you. With sincere thanks and deep appreciation, we accept this flag on behalf of the Peterborough Town Library staff and the Peterborough residents. Thank you very, very much.
And now I'd like to call Marcia Patton forward. Marcia has been a library trustee since 2011 and chair of the board, at least as long as I've been here in 2014. And I'm very, very thankful for her leadership and all of the guidance that she's given me since I've been director. So, Marcia Patton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to talk about stewardship, specifically as it applies to the trustees whose responsibility it is to oversee the library for the town. This includes hiring an incredibly talented and responsible library director. Corinne, would you please step forward? In appreciation of your leadership in the library project, a grateful library community led by a benefactor has arranged for a 3-day all-expenses-paid vacation for you and Charlie next weekend. This is to thank you for your service to the library and to the town.
Oh, thank you.
Back to stewardship. Number one in stewardship is selfless service. There is a long list of trustees from the beginning of the library who have served without financial compensation, chiefly because they cared about the institution, some of them passionately. People like Abiel Abbott, chair of the first board of directors, as trustees were then called, as well as Eben Jones, a trustee for 50 years, who was the moving force behind the 1957 edition, and Elizabeth Yates McGreal, a 20-year trustee who shepherded the 1978 edition. As many other trustees over the last 188 years did, they saw the necessity for a place where all residents could have free access to information that would enrich their lives. Stewards are also called upon to embrace innovation and change, as well as to be team players. Trustees have done that in a big way over the last 10 years, working with the library community as well as the greater community, including the select board, to help fulfill a vision for the future of the library. The trustees contributed $832,000 to the building project, mostly from the library's endowment funds, which they and many prior trustees had been saving for many years. Our decision to do this was based on confidence in the people who were working on the project, as well on the willingness of donors to participate. In a leap of faith, some of these endowment funds were given early on, before it was clear that the project had a good chance of success. Also giving to the project early on were the Friends of the Peterborough Town Library. Over the length of the project, the Friends gave an amazing total of $93,500, living up to their name. It has been a pleasure to be involved with so many of the intelligent, determined, and capable people who worked on this project. Many of these people are seated here and will be introduced later. But now I'd like to recognize the other library trustees. Please stand or raise your hand as your name is called. We'll try to hold the applause until later. Trustees are Ronald Bowman, Ron Droege, Laura Hanson, Karen Struthers. Alternate trustees are Deborah Kaplan, Dr. Greg Kriebel, and Libby Reinhardt. Others who are trustees during the 10-year project are David Weir, Randy Brown, David Simpson, Diane Burnett, Jeannie West, Frank Karlichek, John Vance, and Karen Peterson. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, friends and family of the Peterborough Town Library. I'm Tina Kriebel, the Building Committee Chair and the 1833 Project Manager. Thank you. We all know that a library is more than a collection or a place where that collection is held. People need welcoming spaces and areas, and this beautiful building is welcoming and accessible to all. I'm so profoundly grateful for all those who helped us get to the moment. In 2013, I sat with more than 100 other Peterborough residents who wanted to provide their input and thoughts on what the library meant to them and how it needed to better meet our community needs. We heard about technology and meeting spaces, energy, and sustainability. Working with a large committee of stakeholders, we took that input and made guiding principles for our architects. Once our guidelines were in place, a small but mighty building committee was formed to do some heavy lifting, make building decisions, and evaluate trade-offs. Sue Martin, where are you? Can you please stand? Sue Martin, Corinne, and I were this small but mighty committee. well-oiled design team. We met with the professionals from Ann Beha Architects for months, refining the spaces and setting priorities for the entire building. We tapped into local and regional subject matter experts who improved our knowledge in everything from energy efficiency and construction to art and architecture. We put careful thought into each decision and possibility for your new library. After groundbreaking, I was honored to help project manage the construction with Corinne over the last 14 months. It has been a great deal of work, but also a pleasure. From all sides, we've had the benefit of a talented, collaborative team who always focused on the end goal of a high-quality building for our community. I'd like to recognize our architectural team from Ann Beha Architects who provided the vision for this beautiful building. Would you please stand when I say your name or raise your hand? Ashley Merchant, Carl DeMoss, Steve Gerard, Tom Hotelling. Thank you all. The project estimating and construction management was excellently handled by Harvey Construction from start to finish. John Lawler, a longtime town resident, was the day-to-day site superintendent and fantastic to work with. I think he was thrilled to be on a project in his hometown, and I think he's happy to see it finished. Would you please stand or raise your hand when I say your name? Mike Beaton, John Lawler, James Brennan, Monique Rice, and Josh Graham. Thank you very much. And many thanks to all the residents, volunteers, and professionals for your time, talent, and dedication, which resulted in this beautiful, functional new space for our community.
Again, good afternoon and welcome. I'm Ron McIntyre, chairman of the board of the 1833 Society, and I've been given 3 minutes to thank the many, many volunteers who helped us see this project through. Indeed, the list of names is so long that it would take me far longer than 3 minutes just to read the list of names. Therefore, I will, of necessity, paint with broad strokes, but I will use a fine brush here and there. I'd like to begin by talking about 1833, the society, I mean. It was founded in March 2011 with the encouragement and support of John Morrison Sr. by 5 community-minded individuals: Karen Clement, Cy Gregg, David Simpson Jr., David Weir, and Audrey White. I ask that those founders present please stand to be recognized. Thank you. At inception, the stated mission of the Society was twofold: to design a new library and to secure the funding for it. Mission accomplished. This seems a very appropriate time to say, what you see is what you get. I will now ask my fellow members of the 1833 board to stand and remain standing as I read the following list of names: Ruth Bednars, Sandy Bebass, Karen Clement, Bob Herring-Smith, Elaine Keating, Tina Kriebel, Carl Mabzino, Sue Martin, Audrey White, and Emeritus Lynn Perkins. Allow me to say that for me it has truly been both an honor and a privilege to work with such a dedicated, tireless, and multi-talented group of individuals. And now I'd like to directly address the members of the 1833 Society who are present. Including the board, there are 46 of us, 46 members strong. While all of us contributed to the capital campaign, those who spearheaded the project depended on you for so much more. You hosted campaign gatherings. You assisted with the feasibility study. You helped us with marketing. You guided us through the complexities of project finance. You made introductions on our behalf. You got out the vote for the bond and spoke at town meeting. You selected furniture. You assisted with donor recognition. You fed us Roy's Market. And you gave us encouragement when we needed it. Thanks for all that and so much more. Before concluding, I want to acknowledge that we owe our success in no small part to the efforts of other volunteers who are not 1833 members, and I'll mention just a few. Jill Schaefer and Laura Hansen were instrumental in producing our newsletters, updates, and promotional materials. Carolyn Huff spearheaded the Library Home Companion series, which kept us safely in the spotlight as COVID roared. Tom Fry and Bridget Byrne produced voiceover for our virtual walkthrough video, and local authors Lita Judge and PJ O'Rourke appeared on our behalf. I could go on, but time does not allow. To those I did not mention, you know who you are, and I thank you. I'm done. The new library is all but done. Celebration is certainly in order. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia, Ron, Tina, and Audrey. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for your leadership, your talent, your time. Oh. And now I will let Audrey speak.
Good afternoon. I'm Audrey White, and I was chairman of the capital campaign. So in a few minutes, you will enter through that door right there, and you will see almost immediately a listing of the 934 donors who met with us, reviewed our plans, asked good questions, and supported us financially and in other ways. They are from 36 states, 62% are from Peterborough, and there's even one from Singapore. Before you do, however, I would like to tell you about the Capital Campaign Committee itself. Our first task was to ask Cy Gregg, Stan Fry, and Dorothy Peterson to serve as honorary chairs, which they all agreed to do after recommending each other. And then they agreed to serve together. They were joined later by the late Polly Guth. The core group of the committee, the ones who met every week beginning September 16th, 2015, were Ronnie McIntyre, Tina Kriebel, Sue Martin, Sandy Bebass, Deb Kaplan, Peggy Van Valkenburg, Tori Herring-Smith, and of course Corinne. In addition, Lynn Perkins and Jeannie West, who are both here today, had to leave the committee when they moved away. Our fundraising council for the first 2 years was Pete Caesar, who was also here today. And I would love it if you would all stand or raise your hand. the age of Google, when some people thought libraries were no longer needed, in the midst of a pandemic, in spite of a feasibility study that said we could only raise $2.9 million, this group raised $8.5 million for your library. It is the smallest campaign committee I have ever worked with, but the hardest working. In the beginning, we had no office, no computer, no software, no staff, no telephone, no stationery, no marketing department. We met weekly in a room that had occasional heat and occasional air conditioning, usually in the wrong season, and windows that might or might not open. But from this room, we could see the back door entrance and stairs, and we watched children and adults fill the library as soon as it opened every single day. When the pandemic hit, we met via Zoom. This committee had a history and love of libraries, a fundraising council who had faith in us. We had energy, smarts, contacts, 2 determined boards of trustees, and a library staff who could and would do anything. Most importantly, we had senses of humor and supportive families who put up with hundreds of meetings, events, and requests for manual labor, storage, refreshments, and more. They and you deserve your applause.
Okay. I'm no longer nervous, so I'm glad that happened. Okay. Thank you, Marcia, Ronnie, Tina, and Audrey. I can hardly wait another minute to cut this ribbon, but I do want to say a few words about the future ahead. I want to recognize my staff. Each of you have contributed at such an amazing level, well beyond expectations, well beyond your job descriptions. You moved a library during a pandemic twice, and I recognize and appreciate all of you. I can't wait for the year ahead. Mary Hubbard, our Assistant Library Director, Amy LaRue, our Public Services Librarian, Lisa Burse, Head of Youth, Diane Young, Peter Wagner, Nancy McMullen, and Madison Safer, who are new to our team, Joss Duffy, Tim Brezovec, and Ann Harrison, and of course, Linda Kepner. Stand up one more time. And Nick Boschman. Sorry, Nick. So we have the building. We have an incredible staff. What will we do next? And in some ways, I have the same answer I've had for the past 7 years. The past, present, and future heart of Peterborough Library is always connection. We're the connecting point for our patrons. We connect them to their path towards answers, opportunity, and success. Now, the idea of connection and the power of connection has certainly changed dramatically since we began this project. I think we can all agree that connecting in person is irreplaceable. While the pandemic forced us on screens for learning, for visiting our families, working, entertainment, and there were some conveniences and upsides, but there was also increased division. When we are only in our own spaces, we know we tend to choose to read and explore the ideas that make us comfortable. We talk with and engage with those we agree with, and it's very easy to dismiss and ignore those we do not agree with. The library, more than ever, has a very important job to do. We're the connecting point, and we will be here to rebuild the health of our community. In this building, all are welcome. Ideas are not censored, and we meet our community in person. And it's in those in-person connections that empathy, understanding, truth, and all the best of being human is strengthened and encouraged. Well, that being said, the word connection doesn't quite cut it. I've been struck lately by the calming and powerful presence of the river that's running by this library that we are now so connected to in this new design. What an amazing location for a library. There's a beautiful mural on the south portico, Please take a look at it today. The artist is Peter Edlund, and his piece is called Crow, Land, Butternut, Tree, River in Little Summer Place, which he completed in 2007 as part of the MacDowell Centennial. And the mural is inspired by the translation of the native people's name for the rivers Nubanuset and Kuntukuk. And the portico, the original front door of the library, overlooks the confluence of those two rivers. Confluence. That means a joining or merging together. Confluence is the word I'm going to use to describe the future of this library. It is by a confluence of talented and caring people that this library was reimagined. So you've heard about our leadership, our boards, our staff, and there are so many other people who stepped up and were key to making this project happen. I remember Ben Michaud, the 11-year-old boy who donated his birthday money to the library. Mike Morrison, who headed up our finance committee. Carl von Mertens, who handmade several of the cherry furniture pieces you'll see inside. Peggy Van Valkenburg, who helped with all of the furniture choices and organizing our volunteers today. Sharon Smith and Sandy Bebass, who made sure 934 names were spelled correctly. John Lawler, our excellent project manager, who dropped off the planters from his front lawn last night to the front of this building. And of course, Bill Taylor, who pushed this project over the line in the 11th hour. So now, with the confluence of all of this talent, we are joining together and opening these doors, and I invite you to come inside your building. I cannot wait to see what you need, what you take, what you give, share, and learn to receive. This is where we come together, and the library becomes a platform for the people. It's your place, and on behalf of the staff, we cannot wait to collaborate with our community. Thank you very much. And without further ado, we're going to cut this ribbon. So come forward, cutters.